Famous trials. Dramatic cases of crime and judgment. Factual stories from the courtrooms of the world. Tonight, The Pot of Gold. This is a true report of an actual case, and only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. January the 5th, 1920, was quite a day in Boston. The casual visitor might have wondered at the huge crowds that lined along the streets, at the sudden surge forward as a custom-built limousine stopped before a small city building. He might have wondered at the cheering that broke out as a man, flanked by bodyguards, alighted from the car.
There he is, folks. Mr. Beretti, let me shake your hand. $5,000 I made through your investment company in a month.
Splendid, my friend. Keep investing and you will double, treble your $5,000.
Signor Beretti, as an Italian, I salute you, the greatest of all my countrymen.
My good fellow countryman, you forget Christopher Columbus. He discovered this fair land of the United States.
Forgetting nothing. Columbus only discovered land. You showed us the new way to make money for nothing. Folks, I give you the greatest man in America today, Charles Beretti.
Charles Beretti? Who was he, this new and sudden idol of crowds across America? A movie star? A war hero? A candidate for president? Oh, no. No, Charles Beretti was not one of those for whom the crowd's enthusiasm is usually reserved. To understand his story, it is necessary to go back to the year 1901. In the month of May in that year, Charles Beretti arrived in America, a penniless immigrant. He graduated from that in his first few weeks in New York City to become a dishwasher.
Charlie, hurry up now. Get a move on with them dishes.
Okay, I'm doing the best I can.
Well, that ain't good enough. Smarten it up.
I can't work any quicker, Mr. Beretti. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're clumsy ape. That finishes you, Beretti. You're fired.
So, I'm fired, all right. But nobody, and not even you, calls me ape. Try here, your dishes.
Charlie! Charlie, you've gone crazy. Stop him, somebody.
Nobody tries. This is what I give of you and your plates, this, and this.
Charlie! Oh, quickly, somebody, get the job!
That was the end of Charles Beretti's first job in America. With sirens wailing and the restaurant proprietor, whose name along Broadway was Garlic Brown, screaming for his blood, the young Italian left on the run and went north for his health. It was a lot more peaceful in Montreal. He sought and obtained a job in the National Bank. There were no plates to be broken here, but there were checks to sign, other people's checks.
Oh, Mr. Beretti.
Yes, sir.
Come into my office a moment, will you?
Yes, Mr. Grant?
Beretti, there have been some unexplained shortages in some of the accounts lately. We've been rather disturbed by them.
Shortages, sir?
Yes, so we made a personal inspection of all our employees' lockers. Can you tell me what this checkbook was doing among your belongings?
Checkbook, sir?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you'd better realize the game's up, Beretti. The numbers in this book correspond to forged checks already passed and paid by the bank. The police are on their way here. They're going to have some questions to ask you.
There were a great many questions, and Charles Beretti could supply none of the answers. It was too bad the way he kept getting into trouble. But when you forge checks, the law is no longer on your side. Charles Beretti was given 3 years. He served his sentence and came out of prison declaring himself to be a reformed and repentant character. Just to give himself a better chance, he moved south again, to Boston this time, where he found a position as export clerk, working for a firm of shipping brokers.
Morning, Mr. Baretti.
Hello, Lois.
Here's your day's invoices. Oh, and a letter for you.
Thanks. Say, when are you going to call me Charles?
You never know your luck in a big city like Boston.
Me, I'm never the lucky kind. Oh, this letter's from Spain. Some adjustment on a payment that was short. Yeah, they sent us a whole stack of those 1-cent postal coupons.
I guess you want me to take them down to the post office and convert.
I guess I do.
Say, Charles, you're becoming a real American.
And you call me Charles. Uh-oh. Yeah, here comes the boss.
Good morning, Mr. Brady. Good morning, young lady. What's this all about?
Good morning, Mr. Chapman. We're just arranging to have these postal coupons converted, sir.
Oh, yes, that's postal coupons. Well, carry on.
Yes, Miss Morgan. Convert these 1-cent coupons as soon as you can.
Very well, Mr. Baretti.
What about coming out with me tonight, huh? I'll meet you outside after the office closes. We'll go somewhere in the van. What do you say, Lois?
Well, all right. All right, Charles. Oh, this is really wonderful, Charles. I've never been to a swell place like this before.
You want me to tell you the truth, Lois? Nor have I.
You're sweet. I like you.
Just look at the view from this window. All those lights down there. Up here, you can feel like a king. You can look down and see those lights, those houses. You can pity the people who live in them. Tomorrow morning, they'll be part of the crowd. The wage slaves hurrying to work.
The wage slaves. You said it, brother.
Yes, I said it. I'm a great one for dreaming, Lois. Dreaming useless dreams that never get anywhere.
I didn't mean that, Charles.
But I did. How to make a fortune? You gotta have money, Lois. The world goes round on it. Money means power and friends and a big name that everyone respects.
That means a lot to you, doesn't it?
I'm an underpaid clerk in the shipping. I have plenty of greed and plans. You gotta have money to make money. If you got it, then it's easy to make more.
Well, I only wish I had a friend to send me some of those postal coupons from overseas.
Postal coupons? Oh, those. How will that help?
Well, people buy them in Europe for 1 cent, but they convert here for a nickel.
1 cent redeemed for a nickel. Wait a minute. You mean you buy those coupons with American money in Europe? They cost 1 cent. And you exchange them here for 5 cents?
That's right. I asked them at the postal office how come, and they said those coupons were converted according to some treaty, that it doesn't move with the real rate of exchange.
5 cents return here for 1 cent spent overseas. 5 cents for one, $5 for $1, 500 for 100. Don't you see it, Lois?
Yes, I see it.
You willing to take a chance to make some real money, are you?
Real money. Why not, Charles?
And, my dear, I think we're going into business. So that's how it is, Mr. Chapman. Miss Morton here and I are going into business together.
Well, this is a surprise, Mr. Baretti. The postal coupon business, I think you said? Well, it sounds a risky enterprise after the security of your possessions with this firm.
We're prepared to take a risk. But an enterprise that can make us $5 for every 1 spent can't be too risky.
$5 for one? 500% on your money?
We really shouldn't tell you anymore, should we, Lois?
Well, why not give Mr. Chapman the chance to invest a little money, Charles? After all, he's been good to us in the past.
Well, all right, sir, I'll tell you. It's really very simple.
Yes?
A postal coupon costs 1 cent in Europe and redeems for 5 cents in America. We plan to buy thousands of coupons in Europe and make ourselves an easy fortune.
5 cents to what? I never realized it. Great Jupiter.
You see the possibilities, Mr. Chapman?
Yes, but wait a minute. The government would never allow it.
You don't think so?
Oh, of course not. I admit the idea intrigued me for a moment. But Look at it sanely. They may permit that kind of thing to happen on a small scale. But the moment you exploit the idea, they'll clamp down.
How can they? The rate of exchange of these postal coupons is fixed by treaty with all overseas countries.
Then they'll make you convert into stamps. I know the United States Treasury Department. They'd never allow you to get away with it.
But it's legal.
Oh, perhaps so. But you know yourselves, once the news got around, everybody would be trying the same trick. Look, you'd better change your mind and take back these resignations.
No, thank you, Mr. Chapman. I'm quite sure the government will clamp down, as you say. They may order all coupons to be converted into stamps, and that will discourage others and suit me nicely.
But how can you hope to succeed if that happens?
I have my own secret way of converting these coupons into cash, and it's a secret I share with nobody else.
Not even me. But any time you want to invest some money, Mr. Chapman, we're paying a 50% dividend every month.
50% a month? Oh, this is crazy. Nothing could be that good.
Nothing? You wait and see, Mr. Chapman.
Well, you certainly seem confident. Look here. I'll invest $500, even though it does seem a risk. After all, a man doesn't want to miss out on a good thing.
So Charles Baretti went into business. With Lois Morton and another friend as his assistants, he set up what he called the Security Exchange Company. From the very first, the venture prospered. Within a month, he was collecting $500 a day, and the results were beginning to be talked about in Boston.
Folks, I invested $500. My first month's payment was $250. Now I'm getting back $500 a month. This is something you can't afford to miss.
You know this Baretti, he used to work for me, Garlic Brown. Now he has the biggest investment company in Boston. To me, I'm selling the restaurant to get in on a good thing.
News of the golden opportunity began to spread. Agents worked for Baretti, whispering the glad tidings to factory and office workers. The stream of investors doubled, trebled. Doctors, clerks, mechanics, housewives, immigrants, businessmen, all of them joined the crowds that packed Charles Baretti's office daily. Hundreds were paid out in dividends. Millions were paid in by frantic investors wanting their share of the pot of gold. By the year 1920, Charles Baretti was collecting $250,000 every day.
Listen to that crowd. Sounds like Baretti's arriving at his office for the day.
We certainly packed down there to see him. In all my years in the newspaper business, Chief, I've never known anything like this.
Nor me, eh? 2 months ago, nobody ever heard of Charles Baretti. Now they're calling him the greatest man in America.
I see where the federal authorities have clamped down on postal exchange coupons. Any amounts over $10 have to be redeemed in stamps.
Yeah, but that hasn't stopped Baretti. Stranger's got a secret way of converting the coupons.
And far from stopping him, the money's been pouring in faster than ever. It beats me.
There's got to be an answer somewhere. The public's being fooled because they invest $100 one month and gets back double a month later. They're not stopping to think.
Yeah, my wife's the same. She wants me to draw out all our savings and get in on the bandwagon.
That's happening all over the country. I must admit a lot of people have made money.
Yeah.
But nothing can be this good all the time, Ed. No investment in the world can go on paying off so big. I think Baretti's fooling us all. I'm not quite sure how he's doing it yet.
Think what a scoop it'd be for the Globe. If we could prove that.
Well, let's try. We'll make a full investigation, check every angle, and find out just how this scheme is operating. And I think we'll find that Mr. Baretti, the rich, benevolent, clever Mr. Baretti, is just another racketeer with a multi-million-dollar racket.
We continue Famous Trial. By the spring of 1920, the dream of a penniless immigrant youth had come true. Charles Baretti, with his postal coupon plan, had found a pot of gold. Money poured into his office so quickly that it filled the desk drawers and spilled out of the closets. 16 armed guards watched over stacks of dollar bills that filled the deposit room full to the ceiling. The hysteria to get rich grew. People sold their government bonds. The banks panicked as savings accounts diminished. Charles Baretti, in a few brief months, collected more than $10 million. His name became a byword from coast to coast. He built a showplace estate where the basement vaults contained his millions of dollar notes, and armed guards patrolled the spacious grounds with orders to shoot on sight. He bought real estate, purchased companies, and even bought up the shipping firm, where he had worked as a clerk only a short time before. Nobody could say Charles Baretti didn't have a sense of humor. Meanwhile, in the skyscraper office of the Boston Globe, two men sat patiently examining the details of Baretti's coupon scheme. Their names were Roy Stevens, editor of the newspaper, and his assistant, Ed Wakeman.
Well, this is how it works, all right. In theory, Baretti says he has men all over Europe buying up millions of postal coupons.
Yeah, they send them back to America, he cashes them and makes $5 for every one spent in Europe.
Hence he pays his big dividends. Baretti's getting rich, the public are doubling their money, and everyone's happy.
Well, that's the theory. But how is he cashing these millions of coupons? I don't think the postal offices could stand the payout.
They couldn't, that's it. That's where the whole crazy thing comes to a full stop.
Us too, Steve. Admit we're licked.
I'm not so sure. Ed, how much money do you figure Baretti's handling the past couple of months?
Well, a conservative estimate puts it at $10 million.
$10 million worth of postal exchange coupons. I wonder.
What?
I got a hunch. Ed, you take over the desk for a few days. I'm going to Washington.
Washington?
I'm going to talk to the federal postal authorities. If they'll cooperate, maybe we can break this thing wide open. I guess all the answers are in Washington.
Oh, come this way, will you, Mr. Stevens?
Oh, thanks.
Sit down. Well, we've investigated the facts that you've given us, and believe me, the results are interesting.
Oh, yes, sir?
This man Baretti has had the department worried for some time. Even now, legislation is being considered that will make trading in postal coupons an offense against federal law.
Well, that's fine. But meanwhile, Charles Baretti has got the game by the teeth. He's clearing $1 million a week.
Well, I don't think he's going to do it much longer. We ordered a full undercover check on the sales and trading in postal coupons.
Oh, yes?
He's using it as a blind, Mr. Stevens. Your hunch was right. What? Baretti is supposed to have bought and sold coupons to the value of $10 million, right?
That's right.
The total amount of sales since he began operations don't amount to more than $100,000.
Then it's a complete swindle. I had that figured all right along.
Yes, you were right. Baretti's not trading in coupons. But he's using that as a front to swindle people. So we're clamping down on the coupon.
Good. That'll stop the same thing happening again. Meanwhile, I'm leaving for Boston. My paper's going to run a front-page warning advising people to keep their money away from Mr. Charles Baretti.
So, you're Stevens, editor of the Globe. I'm glad you obeyed my order to come and see me, Mr. Stevens.
I obeyed nobody's orders, Baretti. I got a message you wanted to talk to me. All right, I want to talk to you, so I came.
Do you realize what I could do to your paper for running that warning on the front page, Stevens?
What could you do?
I could sue for $1 million. I could put your stupid little newspaper out of business and make every stockholder bankrupt.
You could try.
But I've decided not to. Instead, I'm going to buy your newspaper.
Don't be crazy. You'll never buy my stuff for one.
You're a minority shareholder, my friend. The others will sell if I offer them 5 times the price of their shares.
I see. Well, you don't own the newspaper yet. And until you do, I'm printing warnings about this racket of yours.
You could be sensible and keep your job. Listen to me, Stephen. You found out I'm not trading in postal coupons. All right, that's true.
You don't have to admit it. The figures speak for themselves.
Let me explain. I've just used this coupon idea as a blind. I don't dare let the Wall Street boys get even a hint of my real scheme. And so long as my depositors get back their money with profits added, I don't have to account to anyone.
Well, that's true enough, if it was true.
What do you mean?
You've got no investment scheme already. You're playing the oldest confidence trick in the world, using the new money that comes in to pay off the old depositors. If everyone asked for their money back, you wouldn't be able to pay 25 cents on the dollar. Your investment company's a phantom, a complete swindle.
Then be a fool, Stevens. Try and fight me.
That's what I mean to do.
And I'll tell you what I mean to do. To show I'm not a swindler, I'm going to offer to refund money to any depositor who wants it.
Can I print that?
You can print it in your biggest headlines. Say Beretti's opening his office tomorrow to pay off anyone who hasn't got faith in him. And now, Mr. Stevens, get out.
Now, look, wait a minute.
You heard the boss, mister. He said get out.
The Boston Globe's exposure rocked America. Thousands of investors swarmed to collect a refund of their money. Charles Beretti calmly rented a second office and for 7 days paid out in cash an estimated $500,000 every day. Men and women walked out with twice the money they'd invested. The skeptical, the doubters, saw them, and their doubts vanished. The refunds dwindled and stopped. Some people went back, invested their money again. Newcomers with cash poured into Beretti's office at a greater rate than ever before. The exposure actually brought Charles Beretti $5 million worth of new business.
People just won't believe us. Beretti's already bought enough stock in this newspaper to be dangerous.
But he hasn't got control yet.
Hey, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Something's happening. That crowd, look.
Open the window.
They're in an ugly mood. Listen to it.
Something's happened, all right.
Come on. Let's get down there, Ed. We'll see what's going on. Look, there's Beretti, Ed. They're taking him out on arrest warrant.
Yeah, and it's just as well by the look of it. Listen to the crowd with it.
We've got to get the score on this. Hey, mister. What's all the trouble about?
You can ask, fella. That wasn't Beretti.
Well, tell me what happened.
The police found out he moved on a 3-year sentence for forgery in Canada, and the feds moved in to examine his books.
Federal agent?
Yeah, they closed his office. He's nothing but a dirty swindler.
Yeah, look at the crowd, will you? The fickle crowd. Yesterday they were cheering him, calling him the greatest man in America. Now they want to see him dead. Come on, let's get back to the office. We got a story to write.
Charles Beretti was indicted by the federal government and pleaded guilty to all charges. In pronouncing sentence, the judge had this to say.
Charles Beretti, in less than 1 year, you actually defrauded 40,000 people of a sum exceeding $15 million. Your liabilities have not yet been estimated, but it is certain that few, if any, of your investors will receive back any of their money. You knowingly defrauded them, and at no time did you ever have any real investment scheme with which to make capital gain on the money handed to you in trust. I dare say that the people who trusted you were not entirely guiltless. The desire for quick and easy wealth is an old and ancient human failing. But those people have paid, many with their entire life savings. Charles Beretti, this court imposes upon you the maximum punishment for your crime. 5 years in the penitentiary.
After serving 3.5 years of his sentence, Charles Beretti was released to be indicted by the state of Massachusetts on account of grand larceny. Found guilty on this charge, he was sent to prison for a further 7 years. Released in 1934, he was met at the prison gates by a marshal of the U.S. Immigration Department.
Mr. Beretti, I hold a warrant here, issued by the United States Department of Immigration.
What warrant? What do you want with me?
According to the department files, you've been 33 years in this country, but you've never taken out U.S. citizenship. Is that correct?
I suppose it is, but it can be remedied, after all, a simple oath of allegiance.
Not for you, mister. You're going back home, to Italy.
What? You can't do this to me.
You don't think so? My warrant authorizes me to take you into protective custody for deportation to your homeland. And at that, you might be lucky. I hear there's a mob waiting for you back in Boston. Waiting at the station for your train to get in.
A mob?
Yeah, even after all this time. People who've lost their life savings, they don't forget easily, Ferretti.
So they shipped him home on a slow boat to Italy. And that should have been the end of this story. But it wasn't. Not quite. For back in Rome, Charles Baretti turned his talents to politics and found a kindred spirit in self-appointed Caesar, Benito Mussolini. As a representative of the Italian fascist government, he was sent to South America and lived there in luxury during the years of war. But with Mussolini's fall, the last chapter in Baretti's strange life was written. Turned out of his job, sick and ailing, he was committed to a charity ward in Rio de Janeiro and died there in January 1949, aged 66. The man who had swindled $15 million, the man who had figured in 2 famous trials and had been the talk of all America, was worth, when he died, just $75.10. Famous Trials. Classic cases from the law courts of the world. The Pot of Gold was written by Peter Yeldham and starred Owen Weingott as Charles Baretti. This is a Grace Gibson production, directed by Lawrence H. Sessions.